Let's talk honestly. You might think that once you hit 60, sexual health becomes something of the past. That desire fades, intimacy fades, and you're left wondering, is this just a part of growing old? Well, I'm here to tell you that sexual health doesn't have an expiration date. In fact, this might be the most liberating chapter of your life when it comes to love, connection, and yes, pleasure. So let's break the myths, explore the truth, and reclaim the joy you deserve. At any age, breaking the silence. Why it's time we talk about sex after 60. Let's be honest. When was the last time you heard someone talk openly about sex after 60, without laughter, discomfort, or changing the subject entirely? For too long, society has treated sex as something that only belongs to the young. The media bombards us with images of youthful romance, passion, and desire, while older adults are often portrayed as asexual, invisible, or uninterested in intimacy. But here's the truth. Sexuality does not retire when you do. It doesn't vanish the day you turn 60, 70, or even 80. It simply evolves, just like we do. In fact, many seniors report feeling more emotionally connected, more relaxed, and more in tune with their partners than they ever did in their younger years. Why? Because by the time we reach our golden years, we've lived, we've loved, we've experienced heartbreak and healing. And that wisdom shapes the way we experience intimacy, deeper, richer, and more meaningful than ever before. Yet despite all this, sexual health remains one of the most under-discussed and misunderstood aspects of aging. For many older adults, bringing up the topic, even with a doctor or a lifelong partner, feels awkward, embarrassing, or even shameful. Some worry they'll be judged. Others have simply absorbed the message that people our age just don't talk about these things. Well, it's time to change that. This conversation matters, not just for pleasure, but for health, confidence, and emotional well-being. Research shows that seniors who remain sexually active often enjoy better cardiovascular health, lower rates of depression, improved self-esteem, and even longer lifespans. Sexuality is not a luxury or a phase. It's a fundamental part of being human, and it deserves respect at every stage of life. So in this video, we're going to explore this topic with honesty, compassion, and dignity. No shame, no embarrassment, just real talk for real people who deserve to feel whole, loved, and alive. Whether you're single, married, widowed, or somewhere in between, this is your space, your journey. And it starts with breaking the silence. Because you are never too old to feel connection, never too old to rediscover joy, and never too old to talk about what truly matters. The body changes, but desire doesn't die. Let's talk about something that every aging adult experiences. Change. Our bodies change. Our energy shifts. Our routines and relationships evolve. And yes, our sexual health changes too. But here's something we don't hear enough. Just because your body changes doesn't mean your desire disappears. In fact, many seniors find that their interest in intimacy actually increases after retirement. Once the stress of work and raising a family fades, you finally have time for closeness, for companionship, and for rediscovering the kind of touch that makes you feel cherished, not rushed. Yet too often, physical changes are misinterpreted as a loss of interest or capability. That's not the truth. Let's unpack what's really happening. For women, menopause brings about hormonal shifts that can lead to vaginal dryness, changes in libido, or discomfort during intercourse. These are natural biological responses, not signs that you're done with sex. There are solutions, from lubricants to hormone therapy to pelvic floor exercises, that can make intimacy not just possible, but pleasurable again. For men, aging can sometimes lead to difficulties with erections or stamina. But again, this is not the end of intimacy. It's simply a new chapter. Erections may take longer to achieve or may be less firm, but the ability to feel, to give, and to receive pleasure is still very much alive. Medications, therapy, and even lifestyle changes like improving diet and exercise can make a big difference. It's also important to understand that intimacy doesn't begin and end with intercourse. In our younger years, we often define sex very narrowly. But with age comes wisdom, and many couples discover that emotional closeness, sensual touch, kissing, cuddling, and shared laughter can be even more fulfilling than a rigid definition of sex. It's about connection, not performance. What matters most is communication and compassion, with your partner and with yourself. Instead of seeing bodily changes as limitations, what if we saw them as invitations? Invitations to slow down, to explore differently, and to connect more deeply. Remember, your body is not broken. It's simply older, wiser. It deserves tenderness, not judgment. And your desire, your longing for connection, your right to feel pleasure, it never expires. You are still capable of giving and receiving love in all its beautiful physical forms. And the more we understand and accept these natural changes, the more empowered we become to embrace them, with confidence and joy. Emotional intimacy, the heart of senior sexuality. When we talk about sexual health after 60, we often focus on the physical side: hormones, stamina, medications, and changing bodies. But there's something even more powerful that shapes our intimacy as we age: emotional connection. Let's be honest, real intimacy is about more than just physical touch. It's about being seen, understood, and loved exactly as you are. And that's where emotional intimacy becomes the true heartbeat of senior sexuality. In our younger years, intimacy is often fueled by excitement, novelty, and urgency. But with age comes a different kind of magic: slowness, depth, and comfort. The kind of intimacy where you can look someone in the eyes and feel completely safe. Where you don't have to prove anything or hide your imperfections. Where you can laugh together, cry together, and be vulnerable without fear. Many seniors say that their most satisfying and meaningful intimate relationships happened after 60. Why? Because by then, you've weathered life's storms. You've learned what truly matters. You've let go of the insecurities and comparisons that clouded your younger years. And that allows for a connection that's rooted not just in attraction, but in trust, friendship, and shared experience. Emotional intimacy also fuels physical intimacy. When you feel emotionally close to someone, your body relaxes. You're more present, more open, more willing to explore and communicate without fear of rejection or judgment. And that makes physical touch more natural and meaningful. If you're in a long-term relationship, this may be the time when emotional closeness deepens in beautiful, unexpected ways. If you're widowed, divorced, or exploring a new relationship later in life, building emotional intimacy first can set the foundation for a healthier, more fulfilling connection, physically and emotionally. But here's something important to remember. Emotional intimacy begins with yourself. It means being honest about your desires, your fears, your boundaries, and your hopes. It means giving yourself permission to feel pleasure and joy, even if society says you're past the age for romance. You are never too old to fall in love again, whether with someone new or with the person you've shared decades with. You are never too old to be held, to be cherished, and to feel connected on a soul-deep level. Emotional intimacy isn't a bonus in your later years. It's the core of vibrant sexual health. And when you nurture it, you open the door to a richer, more loving life. Myths, taboos, and the truth about aging and sex. Let's clear the air. Because when it comes to sex and aging, myths and taboos have done more harm than good. From the time we're young, we're bombarded with messages that sex is for the young, the physically fit, the wrinkle-free. So when we reach our 60s, 70s, and beyond, it's easy to start wondering, is it still normal to want intimacy? Is something wrong with me if I still feel desire? Let's put this to rest right now. Your sexual identity does not have an expiration date. Still, many older adults carry around old, outdated beliefs that create shame, confusion, or silence. So let's take a moment to bust a few of the most common myths and replace them with facts that empower, not embarrass. Mythone. Older people don't have sex. Truth. According to multiple studies, including those published in journals like the New England Journal of Medicine, a significant percentage of adults over 60 remain sexually active well into their 70s and 80s. Some even report better intimacy than in their younger years. Myth 2. If you have health issues, you shouldn't be having sex. Truth. Many chronic conditions like arthritis, diabetes, or even heart disease do not eliminate the possibility of sexual activity. In fact, regular intimacy can support both physical and emotional health. The key is communication with your partner and your doctor. There are often safe ways to adapt and continue enjoying intimacy. Myth 3. If your body doesn't respond like it used to, it means you're broken. Truth. Bodies change. That's part of life. A slower response doesn't mean you're no longer capable of pleasure. It just means the approach may need to be different. More communication, more patience, more focus on the journey, not the destination. Myth 4. It's shameful or inappropriate to talk about sex after a certain age. Truth. This belief has silenced generations of older adults, especially women. But silence serves no one. Talking about sexual health is just as important as talking about heart health, bone density, or blood pressure. It's a part of your well-being and your identity. When we let go of these false beliefs, something beautiful happens. We reclaim our right to intimacy without apology. We step into a new era of confidence, clarity, and connection. Sex after 60 is not taboo. It's normal. It's healthy. And it's yours to define. Whether that means rediscovering passion with a partner, learning to love your own body again, or simply staying open to closeness, the truth is this: you're allowed, you're worthy, and you are never, ever too old to feel alive, loved, and desired. Staying healthy, safe, and sexually active. Let's talk about something essential. How to stay sexually active in a way that's healthy, safe, and empowering. Sexuality in later life can be incredibly fulfilling, but it's also important to take care of your body, protect your health, and stay informed about the risks and realities that come with any stage of life, including this one. You might be surprised to learn that in recent years, sexually transmitted infections, STIs, have actually increased among older adults. Why? Because many seniors mistakenly believe they don't need protection anymore. Pregnancy might no longer be a concern, but STIs absolutely still are. Let's be clear. If you're dating again, starting a new relationship, or even reconnecting with a longtime partner after years apart, using protection like condoms is still vital. Regular STI screenings are just as important at 65 as they are at 25. There's no shame in it, only wisdom and self-respect. And don't hesitate to talk to your doctor. More and more healthcare providers are being trained to discuss senior sexual health without judgment. If yours isn't, it's okay to find someone who will. Whether it's about safe practices, hormonal changes, erectile dysfunction, or vaginal dryness, these are medical issues, not moral ones. A few practical tips for staying sexually healthy after 60. Communicate openly with your partner about your needs, boundaries, and any discomfort. Good sex starts with good conversation. Schedule regular checkups with your doctor and include sexual health as part of the discussion. This is especially important if you're starting a new relationship. Use lubricants or vaginal moisturizers if dryness is an issue. These simple solutions can greatly improve comfort and pleasure. Stay physically active. A healthy heart, flexible joints, and a strong pelvic floor all contribute to better sexual function. Consider therapy, not because something is wrong, but because a sex therapist or counselor can help you and your partner reconnect or overcome anxieties that are perfectly normal at this stage of life. But beyond physical safety, there's also emotional safety. It's okay to move at your own pace. Whether you're with a lifelong partner or starting anew, Trust your instincts. Emotional readiness is just as important as physical ability. Don't feel pressured to meet anyone else's timeline or expectations. There is no one-size-fits-all version of what sexuality looks like in your golden years. It might involve regular physical intimacy. It might look like long hugs, slow dancing, or simply holding hands on the porch. Whatever it looks like for you, it's valid, it's beautiful, and it deserves care. By taking care of your health, honoring your body's changes, and making informed choices, you not only protect yourself, you give yourself the freedom to fully enjoy this chapter of life. Remember, sexual health is self-respect in action. And when you prioritize it, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. Talking to your partner. Communication without embarrassment. One of the most powerful tools for healthy intimacy after 60 isn't found in a doctor's office or a medicine cabinet. It's found in your voice. That's right. Open, honest. Communication is the foundation of lasting, fulfilling intimacy at any age. Yet for many people, especially those who grew up in generations where sex was rarely discussed, starting that conversation can feel awkward, even with a partner you've known for decades. But here's the truth. Talking about sex doesn't ruin the magic. It builds the connection. And good communication can mean the difference between frustration and fulfillment. So how do you start? First, let go of the idea that talking about intimacy is shameful or unnecessary. Whether you're in a long-term marriage or exploring a new relationship later in life, talking openly about your needs, your fears, and your desires is an act of trust and love. It's not about complaining, it's about connecting. You might say something like, "I've noticed some changes in how I'm feeling lately, and I'd love to talk about how we can stay close and comfortable together." Or, "I really miss the closeness we used to share, and I'd love to explore how we can bring more of that back." These conversations don't need to be clinical or overly serious. Sometimes they can be light, even playful. The key is to create a safe space, one where there's no judgment, no performance pressure, and no rushing. Remember, your partner may be dealing with insecurities too. They may feel nervous, inadequate, or unsure of how to express their own needs. When you speak with kindness and patience, you give them permission to open up too. Here are a few tips to improve intimacy through communication. Use I statements to express your feelings gently and clearly. For example, "I feel more connected when we cuddle before bed," instead of "you never touch me anymore." Be specific. Let your partner know what feels good, what's changed for you, and what you'd like to try, whether that's more foreplay, a slower pace, or non-sexual touch that builds comfort and trust. Acknowledge the awkwardness. It's okay to laugh or admit, "This feels a little weird to say, but I want us to be close." Vulnerability is not weakness, it's intimacy. Listen actively. When your partner shares something, respond with curiosity and care, not defensiveness. A simple, "Thank you for telling me," can go a long way. Schedule intimacy if needed. It may sound unromantic, but planning time for connection can help prioritize your relationship and reduce anxiety. Most importantly, know that it's never too late to improve your connection. Every conversation is a chance to understand each other better, to heal old misunderstandings, and to rekindle closeness. Even if you've never talked about sex openly before, you can start now. Because emotional safety is the door to physical intimacy, and your voice holds the key. So don't stay silent. Speak your truth. Ask for what you need. And remember, the most powerful thing you can bring into the bedroom isn't perfection. It's presence. Reclaiming joy, why you deserve pleasure at every age. Let's pause for a moment and ask something many people over 60 have quietly wondered. Is it still okay to want pleasure? Not just the kind that comes from a hug or a kiss, but real, sensual, physical, joyful pleasure? The answer, in bold letters, is yes, you deserve pleasure. Not just because it feels good, but because it nourishes your spirit, your confidence, and your sense of being fully alive. Yet so many older adults, Quietly push that part of life aside. Maybe you've been told that sex or desire isn't for people your age. Maybe you've internalized shame, fear, or guilt from earlier decades. Maybe your body doesn't move the way it used to, and you wonder if intimacy is even possible anymore. Let's set the record straight. Pleasure is not a luxury. It's a human right. It doesn't expire with age. It just evolves. As we grow older, pleasure becomes less about performance and more about presence. It becomes slower, deeper, and often more emotional than physical. But that doesn't make it any less real. In fact, for many seniors, intimacy becomes richer, more soulful, and more freeing than it ever was before. You're not chasing someone else's idea of passion, you're defining it for yourself. And that's powerful. So how do you reclaim joy at this stage in life? Start with self-compassion. Your body has carried you through decades of life. Every scar, wrinkle, and curve is a chapter of your story. Instead of criticizing your body, try appreciating it. Speak kindly to it. Touch it with gentleness. Redefine what intimacy means to you. It might involve sexuality, but it might also be emotional closeness, sensual massages, deep conversations, or dancing in your kitchen. There's no rule book. You get to write your own. Give yourself permission. Many people wait for someone else to say it's okay. But the only permission that truly matters is your own. You are allowed to feel, to explore, and to seek pleasure, whatever that looks like for you. Celebrate the now. You don't need to be the person you were at 30 or 50 to experience joy. The version of you today, wiser, gentler, more grounded, is just as worthy of love and delight. Let's change the conversation around aging and sexuality. Let's stop whispering and start celebrating. You are not too old. You are not past your prime. You are in a season of life where connection can be deeper, love can be truer, and pleasure can be more soulful than ever. Because you are not just surviving in your golden years. You're thriving, so light the candles. Hold the hand. Speak the truth. Ask for what you want. And know, deep down, that it's not only okay to feel joy, it's your birthright. Thank you for joining us in this honest and empowering journey. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's age boldly. And let's never stop honoring the beauty of connection at every age.